Hello, good afternoon, my friends. This is Grace from Mommy Supermodel, and I have a very special message for you today. I am so pleased to be sharing it with you. This message is a special one for my friends, my fellow dreamers. I have something very wonderful to you, straight from the Bible, as usual. And today's message, I am calling it, Let Them Laugh. Let them laugh. Let your detractors laugh. Let your opposition laugh. Let your haters laugh. But you just keep your head straight ahead and focused on the mission. Matthew chapter 9, verses 18 through 32 is where we get our spiritual inspiration from. It is a story about a ruler whose daughter was dead, the Bible tells us. So this man came to Jesus, fell down at his feet and worshipped, and said to Jesus, "Please, Rabbi, come embrace my daughter. Come touch her so she'll come back to life." So Jesus goes with this man to his house. He takes along with him his disciples. And when he gets there, we are told, he meets a group of people who are called noisy people. Some of them were playing flutes and just a noisy bunch. So Jesus says to them, "Go away. The girl is not dead. She is only sleeping." And we are told that these people laughed at Jesus. They laughed him to scorn. They made fun of him. They ridiculed him. But he didn't respond, of course. He just went into the house, took the daughter by hand, the little girl, and the little girl was alive again. She resurrected and came back to life. Now, this is a very wonderful passage, and I'm just going to keep it very brief. I have 4 takeaways for us today. For my fellow dreamers, I have 4 things for you that I just want to highlight, that I think if you just keep this in mind every single day as you work on your dreams, eventually you'll be the one with the last laugh. So the very first takeaway is this: fellowship. Fellowship with people who believe in you. Fellowship in people who believe in your dreams. Fellowship with people who share the same ideas and the same goals. This guy, this ruler, he believed in Jesus. That is why even though his daughter was dead, he believed that Jesus had the power in him to raise this little girl up from the dead. That's why he came in spite of everything. You know, death is supposed to be the be all and all. Like, this is it. But this guy believed that there was hope, and he came to the one person that he knew could make this happen for him. He came to Jesus, worshipped at his feet, and made his request. That was belief. He believed in this person. He believed in Jesus. So we should fellowship with the people who believe in our dreams. Okay, the second takeaway is this: ally yourself with people who are going where you want to go. Jump on their bandwagon or let them in on your bandwagon. Share ideas. Ally yourself with them in terms of strategy, in terms of past experiences, in terms of technology, whatever you can share with these people who are going where you're going or who've been where you've been. In other words, you have the same goals, the same dreams, or they are stakeholders in this. Okay? See, when Jesus came to this house, mind you, he didn't ask the parents to go away. He spoke to the people who were distractors, who were noisy makers, who weren't contributing anything good to the process, to the situation. They were only making a bad situation worse. So those are the ones that he put out. But he went along with his disciples. Those are the people he allied himself with, the people who believed in him, the people who've seen him work miracles before, the people who recognize him as rabbi, as master, who learned from him. Those are the people with whom he went to do this big job that was ahead of him. So we should always only ally ourselves with people who are going where we're going. Get on their bandwagon or allow them to get on yours. This is not to say we should never listen to any kind of criticisms and only have false friends or sycophants. No, I'm just saying sometimes some criticisms can be very detrimental to your process, to your progress. So sometimes you don't want to hear, you shouldn't be listening to that. Cut out the noise. I have a little example. It's a little political, but it's coming from Great Britain. It is said that Margaret Thatcher, when she first came to office, she was the very first woman to hold the office of Prime Minister in Great Britain. And that within her cabinet, there were a lot of people who didn't believe in her. The men in her cabinet from her own political party, They were really sabotaging her work. And one day, this woman came to work and asked for the resignation of every single member of her cabinet. This is how she explained it. She said she knew she was going to face opposition and other fights from the opposition party, from the other party, but she wasn't going to tolerate that within her own party. This is not to say she didn't want any form of dissent. She was just saying that at least I shouldn't come home every day within my own cabinet to be fighting with you to put forward any idea. Yes, I want suggestions from you, but I do not want sabotage, at least not in my own house, at least not in my own cabinet, at least not within my close circle of friends. That is what I mean here. So when you are going somewhere, ally yourself, band with people who think similarly in terms of goals. They may come with different ideas and strategies, but at least the end goal should be the same. People who believe that you can do this. If you have any saboteurs, please cut them out. Remove them like those noisy people that Jesus removed. You do not need those people. They will not help you go where you're trying to go. In fact, their main goal is to stop you from going there. And so you can't allow that to happen. Now, our third topic is about communication. To communicate. You see, Jesus again gives us a very good example of how to deal with our detractors. He did not answer them a word, even though they scorned him. They laughed at him. You know, it is so funny. The foolish people always laugh at the geniuses. It is amazing. Throughout history, you will see the men and women who've made breakthrough discoveries or who've changed our world for the better in so many ways. Those people were initially laughed at. They were scorned. They were ridiculed. Whether we have recent examples like Steve Jobs, who was Steve Jobs of Apple, the late Steve Jobs, who was called foolish in so many ways because he came up with the idea, of course, of the cell phone and so many other great things that he's done to move modern technology forward. Or even go back to history, people like Louis Pasteur, who really was very instrumental in creating and finding a way of using vaccines to inoculate people against diseases, and his discovery on rabies. I have a different person in mind. Rabies was very, very helpful. And then you see many examples like Marie Curie. Like throughout history, we find these people who are smart, these geniuses who've made great breakthroughs and discoveries. They were laughed at initially. But the good thing, Jesus is the best example, of course, in everything. And he didn't respond to these people. Jesus knew one very, very central truth, which is this. It is your results, it is your work that will speak best for you. That is the one and only sure way to answer your detractors. Don't engage in verbal argument, trying to justify yourself or prove yourself. These people will never agree with you. Not because there is no point in your argument, not because there's no intelligence in what you're saying, but because they have already made up their minds not to listen to you, not to believe you, not to see the evidence, not to see the truth in what you are saying. So it will be a complete and total waste of time to engage in any verbal dispute with such people. Focus on your work and let your results be the one and only way in which you communicate with them. When you have done your work and the good results show, results speak for themselves, then that is the one and only surefire way to answer these people. You won't have to say a word. Your work will speak for you and speak far. Even when you are not there, your work will still be testifying on your behalf. And the same was true for Jesus in this case. After this girl was resurrected, the Bible tells us his fame, word of him, spread throughout the land. Jesus didn't have to do any kind of advertising. He didn't send people out to say, go and tell everyone that I did this. People spoke. People testified on his behalf, even when he wasn't there. People were saying, oh my God, look at what he has done, because the result of his work proved itself, spoke for itself. So we should focus only on that. Do not waste time trying to show an apparent fool, excuse my expression, why your idea is smart. Prove it. And how you prove it, just keep working on it and doing what you're supposed to do. Work on your dreams. When you have it, then you can say, voila, see what I was trying to say to you? And this you will say without having uttered a word. Your work will speak for itself. And my final point is this, and I think this is very crucial, is that we have to get used to working in private. Work in private. Do not let any and everyone really close to you. Do not share your dreams with everyone. Do not let people in on your secrets. Not everyone should be privy to the important things in your life, especially your dreams that you're working on. So be very selective in your friends. Be selective in your partners. Be selective in whom you work with. But above all, remember that the behind the scenes work, the work that you do behind the scenes is very isolated. It's very isolating. It's very lonely. But that is where you do your best work. Work in private and shine in public. That's how it's done. Work in private and shine in public. Those lonely hours that you're going to put into your craft, it's going to be many and long and yes, very lonely. Many people won't be there with you. But when you go out, when you put your work out there, then it will be manifested in a very public fashion. And then you get your promotion and then you get your recognition. Jesus went in by himself, took this girl by hand. When she was raised up from the dead, the word went out. The work was done in a solitary place, in the quiet, in the private, without all the detractors present, because you cannot really do good work with the opposition present sometimes. So he removed all those people. He excluded them, then went in and focused on what he was going to do, did it, and then the result came out. So like I said, do your work in private. Get used to the idea of working privately. It is going to be lonely, isolating, and sometimes maybe even, I don't want to say frightening, in the sense that you might feel like, oh my God, I'm alone in this. Yes, that's how you're supposed to feel, because in a way you are alone in this. This is your baby. This is your dream. Don't be afraid to do your work privately. Don't have that desire to always explain yourself to people or prove that you're worthy. Let your work prove that for you. It might take a long time, but you will get there if you do not give up. But please listen to me. The work is done in